Thank you guys for coming back, and in this tutorial I'm not going to teach you a specific way to do an alteration. It's more of how I alter a full suit that I got from the thrift store. This one in particular I got for $10 at a Goodwill near me, and it actually fit pretty well except for a few 70s throwback styles that I had to get rid of to make it more modern. So hopefully you guys enjoy this type of content, and if you have any specific questions for what I'm doing, make sure you leave them in the comments or text me at my phone number. So this is a 70s vintage three-piece suit. Fits actually very well, just needs some work in the body, sleeves, and undoing the bell bottoms of the pants. So because I'm doing this on myself, I'm going to use the pattern method for marking it, where I just grab a suit that I really like the fit, lay it on top, and I just make it virtually fit the same way. The waist was good. And the length was good, so all I have to do is taper it down, but because these are high-waisted pants, my bad, they're going to need a little bit less work because you want a more fuller aesthetic with that. But now that we got these marks, we're going to take the pants and turn them inside out and get them over to the pressing table. And then next we're going to take a look at the jacket, which is only going to need to come in about 3/4 of an inch, and because the lining this isn't a fully lined jacket, it's going to make it really easy to get in there. Now the vest actually was in really good shape. I liked how it fit, just some of the buttons are a little loose. So here we are, we're going to take out the bottom of the pant as you see in my other pant hemming tutorials. Then we'll end up pressing down the side seam, getting the marks of how much we want to take in on each side, pressing that flat, then we're going to take it over to the machine. So what you're seeing here is actually a piece of interfacing tailors used to throw in the hem of pants to give them a little bit more rigidity, if that's the right word. You don't see it much more anymore because it's a lot more fast-paced, the world of alterations, but that's what those were added there for. Now because these are high-rise pants, I'm not going to be taking in the crotch a lot because I like the room that it had when it was on. So I'm simply going to just taper up into the crotch and then right into under the pocket. A lot of this is done by freehand for me because I've done it so many times. I know where to ease it in or ease it out. But like I talk about in my tapering videos, just make sure that you use your measurements in the ruler and pretty much just connect the dots if this is your first time going at it. Thankfully, there isn't a lot of lining to deal with on this jacket, but we are going to have to untack the part that is still in there and the lining that's still attached, and as well as undoing the bottom, which is a more professional looking hem than being able to hide it underneath all that lining. So what I'm doing is just opening up the bottom so that, again, like I did on the pants, just press it open and make my mark so I can take it to the machine and finish it off. Something that should be noticed is the way that the lining is attached on the front. If I was taking this in more, I would have to take off all that lining and then reattach it. But thankfully, I had just enough to where I was able to get past the lining without too much trouble, but keep that in mind if you find yourself in this similar situation. And then here, this is going to take us back to our kindergarten preschool days where we just learned how to trace shapes and lines. So just follow those lines you made, go all the way down. Now I just have the video footage of me doing it on the pant leg, but it's the same exact thing on the suit sides. So just like the seams on your pants when you taper them, you have to take out the old stitching so you can press it open, and that is because we are working with a single vent garment and taking it on the side seams. These will need to be pressed open for the best look. If you were dealing with a double vented jacket, you would not have to do this. If you're planning on doing the alterations like me, I'm keeping the pant length the same, so I'm just going to be very intentional to make sure that I don't remove the crease on the pants because I'm just going to refold it up to where they were when I took it apart, as my line to put it back together. But if you lose that mark, you're going to have to try them on again and remark them, which is a pain in the butt. Now, unfortunately, this next step I forgot to film, but I made a video on how to taper sleeves and shorten sleeves, and that's all I did was I tapered it in. As you can see, I went along just like I did on the pants, but you can check those videos out if you want a more in-depth tutorial. And then here we are, just turning it back up to that hem line and running it through the blind stitch. And the last step that we all should remember is making sure you give it a nice press job. Without a good press, these look like just home alterations no matter how professional of a job you do. You want to make sure all those seams are pressed out flat from the inside and outside. Here I am just making sure that they all line up, and they actually match pretty well. And now our last steps are just pressing out the sleeves and adding the buttons, as well as tacking down the side seams of the jacket itself. Again, these are done in other videos. If you want to check them out, just go back to the video library and you can find them. Now here is the final product. You guys be the judge on whether you like it this way or how it came from the store. When it comes to buying clothing, guys, and you're on a budget, thrifting is one of the best ways to go about it. But you don't always have the right fit off the rack or the ability to go pay to get it tailored because that can be expensive. So learning how to do this on your own, guys, helps open so many different doors for you to be able to get your alterations done and look fly on a budget. And like always, I would appreciate it if you guys liked, share, or commented on this. Get this out to people who you think would enjoy this type of content. And again, and if you want to see more of this or more back to the straightforward tutorials, just let me know and I'd love to make more. But I'm working through about 6 suits that I got at the thrift store, so you are going to see more of these, but hopefully I can sprinkle in some more pointed tutorials.